What is going on, you guys? My name is Daniel and welcome back to the channel where everything mirrorless Canon cameras, and today we're not talking about this massive lens I have here, the 28-70 RF to f2, but we're going to be talking about a much smaller lens, the 50mm that we have right there. And this lens, and I've had it on loan from Canon Finland for about a week or two, and have been taking pretty much as many photos as I can with it over the Christmas holiday along with the other lenses. And I'm just going to this is the first introductory on the channel to the 50mm, I guess, and so we're going to talk about what I've thought about it thus far. I'm going to have a deep dive which is going to include quite a few different things about the 50mm uses for it versus other lenses. Is this a good setup? That's all going to be coming up, but this is just the first looks into the 50mm from my eyes, and it's pretty good for $200. I feel envious of other YouTubers that are in like the UK and they get to say cool words like quid and stuff, but I have euros and dollars. The first comparison in the classes that are similar is the 35, and so this is the 50 and this is the 35, and as you can see it's about half as much as the 35 when it sticks out of the camera. So this is the first truly small lens that you can have for your RF system, and what that means is that you have a very consumer, very mobile photography base that you can have now, which in the past you pretty much had the options between the massive lenses, and then this was the smallest lens that you could have. And if you wanted to put the old Nifty 50 on it, you would have to have the adapter and then the Nifty 50, and this feels like about half of the old Nifty 50, which is really good size, and it really makes the overall massive size of this camera setup and the R series glass all feel very, very small now, which is really good for everybody that wants a just casual camera that you can take around. See how much smaller that looks? It's phenomenal. And then if you have the RP with this, it's going to be even smaller, which is crazy because, you know, it's just like a get up and go. I mean, that was one of the big things. I know that you start selling to the professionals first, but this lens here is massive. I will not be going on a hike with this lens, but I will in the future be going on hikes with the 50mm, and that is because it's just so small. I used to be taking the adapted EF 17 to 40 on hikes, and that was pretty hefty to have around your neck for the entire hike, plus gear. So having a small lens that you can now carry around, it makes it very, very consumer friendly. It's cheap. You get the wonderful bokeh on there. They have removed the front lens, or not the front lens, you know how the control ring that is now, I guess it's almost like fly-by-wire for focusing manually if you so desire. You just change it in the settings. We'll go over all that in the extended version. At the end of this video, I'll also have some of the photos that I've taken over the past week with this one, and I've also been using, in conjunction with it, the 50 1.4, which this is a beast of a lens. You can see the difference right there. It's about how much bigger it is. The contrast isn't great with but this is a huge, heavy, awesome lens that serves a very specific purpose for wonderful portraits, and you can get almost the same effect, I would say, with this lens as you can with that one. Now that one is a lot sharper, a lot more creamy, a lot more bokeh, but you can still get a very, very similar, very, very high quality, and as well, this lens is wonderful for video. I really enjoyed all the videos that I've shot with it thus far. The autofocus on it for video is really good. It's still an STM, but it hasn't given me any problems, and I enjoyed it a lot more than using the old Nifty 50, the plastic one that would just, it made so much noise while I was focusing, and it really felt like that's another thing that you can't do with, while I did also enjoy the 50mm RF 1.4 for video, this motor inside this is so ridiculously loud that it makes having the mic on top of the camera completely useless. All the audio is just blown. It's garbage. But this one here, the 50mm RF 1.8, works perfect for that. And I mean, you don't really need anything more than 1.8 for video purposes, unless you're really trying to go for something like you need it to be ultra sharp, ultra thin for whatever reason. But for the most part, you don't shoot at incredibly low apertures for video. So the photos that I have for this are going to be coming. They're going to be playing after this. I really enjoyed carrying this lens around, and it's really changed the dynamic just because it's such a small, compact size now that you have, rather than, like I said, carrying around these massive lenses. And it really does, even while I was doing some street shooting, some street photography, switching over from one of the larger lenses that I was also shooting with at the time over to this, and the way that people look at you will change. So it really does show you how different this lens is from anything else. And for $200, I think it's a fantastic price. Link down in the description if you're interested in supporting the channel. More videos will be coming, and the things that you will be missing on it that I kind of wish it had, but at the same time it keeps the price down and it keeps the size small that you get with the 35. The 35 is a little bit too wide for my tastes. I have a video about why I don't like the 35mm. It's good for video as well though. But the stabilization, you don't get stabilization with the 50mm, and that might, you know, it doesn't matter because I have the R6 because it has IBIS, and that works perfectly fine in combination, so you can still get those really low shutter speeds. But if you're using the R or the RP that doesn't have any IBIS, that might pose more of an issue for people that are trying to do extreme low light, and they might end up steering the direction of the 35. And in comparison, I definitely would take the 50mm above the 35 if given the two options between these, even if the price is a little bit lower on the 50mm. Thinking about doing a potential giveaway for the 50mm, so we'll see about that in the coming up near future. So don't forget to like and subscribe down below for everything mirrorless Canon cameras and the other information that I'm going to be dropping about the 50mm in comparisons with other lenses, and if it is the lens for you. So don't forget to subscribe for all of that coming up. Thank you so much for watching. Here's the images.